Hello. Um, Today I will be discussing uh, Willa Cathers' O Pioneers. Got this cute little book from a library book sale. It's the unabridged version, of course. Another way to read a book. But it's a very fortunate book that I found. I was very happy to find it because I think the day before I was watching um, Stephen Donahue's video about recommendations for uh, what's that called? June on the Range. And he recommended this book, Willa Cather's Pioneers. I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. And I went to a library book sale the next day, and it was there. I was like, this is fortuitous. This is destined. I need to read this book now. And so I did. And it took me, of course, a month and a half to read it, because I'm a terrible reader. Now, I'm not a slow reader, I just don't read. So people are like, oh, it's okay to be a slow reader. It's like, yes, it is okay to be a slow reader, but a slow reader that doesn't read is the worst kind of slow reader. Um, but yeah, wow. This book was just beautiful, beautifully written. The characters are so earthy. They're just there. Both feet are on the ground. They're just doing their thing, and you feel them so much. Like these are like people I could have met, people I could have lived with, people I could have befriended. And it's such a lonely, sad book. The main character, Alexandra, is just such a lonely, sad person. She is hardworking, resilient, steadfast, a dreamer. I always love dreamers. I'm somewhat of a dreamer myself. But it's just so evocative and powerful. I don't know. She's so a little brief overview of the story. It takes place in the 1800s, late 1800s in Nebraska Prairie. And it's about people living in the frontier, right? It's a barren, at the time, barren land. It's hardly workable, People aren't thriving there. And there's a family. I can't remember their names. Is it the Bergesons? They're Swedish. And the very beginning, the father dies. It's not a spoiler. That's a big part of the story. And he leaves the farm not to his sons, but to his daughter, because he knows she has the resilience to go through with it, to keep going, because he knows there's something there. And as soon as he dies, her brother's like, gotta sell the farm, move back to a city, get jobs there. We can't stay here. It'll never work. And she's like, no, it can work, and it will work. And then there's a big time skip, and she's like the richest person in the area. And so are her brothers. Their farm prospered. But a big part of the story is you can seem like you have everything you want, anything anybody could ever want, and you can still be miserable and lonely and sad. And that's what she is, because she has no one, really, to share her life with. Her two older brothers are, well, I don't know if they're older than her, but the elder brothers are miserable bigots and assholes, and they don't treat her kindly at all. They resent everything she does, mostly because she's better than them. She's smarter than them, she's more accomplished than them. They wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for her. And there's her younger brother, Emil, who is discontent with life on the farm, and he's goes off to farm, not go off to farm, to study in school. He travels around a lot. And she makes a new friend. She has a new friend, a bohemian girl. And it's just, things happen. Lots of stuff happens. For such a small book, a lot of things go down. It's only 122 pages. This book made me cry twice within the last 15 pages of the book. And there are other times I felt like crying too. It packs a punch. It's I don't know. I can't properly describe how this book made me feel, but it drags you down to the pits of despair in the very towards the end, and then it pushes you back up to hopefulness at the very end. And I love that. I think sad books should have happy endings. I think, or at least hopeful endings. I can't stand books that are miserable all throughout, and the ending is miserable too. Like, okay, what does that teach you about life? What does it say about life? As a person with depression, reading that, I'm like, oh, so it doesn't get better. But books like this, they're like, hey, it's all worth it. It will get better. It can get better if you put the work in. And that's what happens. There's a couple lines I wanted to read off that just really resonated with me. Yeah, the name is Bergson. That's the last name. Okay, where is that line? It's towards the end here, I know. Alright, here it is. This is about Alexandra. This is a line. It's a thought she has. She began to wonder whether she would not do better to finish her life alone. What was left of life seemed unimportant. Ouch. I felt that many a time. I knew exactly how she feels in this part of the book. Just the overwhelming loneliness, just like, why am I doing anything? What's the point? I'm just going to be lonely and miserable my entire life. Another good line is from a poem. She remembers a poem that she liked in her school days. Henceforth, the world will only be a wider prison house to me. Yeah. But in the end, I don't know. Another good line is towards the very end of this paragraph. She leaned heavily on his shoulder. I am tired, she murmured. I have been very lonely, Carl. And it feels like she finally says it. She admits it. But the person who can take away her loneliness is there with her. Who will take away her loneliness now that he's there. And it's such just a beautiful story. Alexandra this book has shot its way up to my top 10 books of all time, by the way. But Alexandra, probably one of my favorite characters of all time. Just like, I'd say a perfect way of writing a strong woman, especially like in historical fiction, because it's just her strength is, I don't know how to say this without sounding weird. Throughout history, I think people make this mistake where they think a strong person is a powerful person, right? Like, you can't be strong if you're not a badass and you fight people and stuff like that, or you are loud and assertive. She is not that, not any of those things. She's a very quiet, reserved type of strength and endurance, and she just plows through things. She's not the smartest person. She's not the most of anything, except for she has a heart that just dreams and refuses to give in until the very end, where she almost gives in. But even then, she doesn't do it. Even when it seems all hope is lost, nothing in life is worth living or doing things for, she still finds something to fight for, and someone to fight for. And it's surprising who she chooses to fight for. Yeah. I don't know. It's also a story about immigrants. All the characters are immigrants, and focus on Swedish, Bohemian, and French immigrants, and their stories. Please excuse the yawns. I'm a very yawny person. But I don't know. I say that a lot too. I am filled with I just finished the book. I literally put it down and turned on the camera to record this. I'm a little heartbroken. I felt like the book broke my heart to glue it back together within like 3 pages. 5 pages more like. But I wish I'd finished this book sooner. I wish I'd read it faster. This is a book, you could read this book in one sitting. I should have read it in one sitting because it was worth it. I'm terrible at reading. But yeah. What else did I want to say? I don't know. I might come back to this book later and talk about it more later, but that's all I have to say right now, I think. Give me a second to think. No, it's gone. Alright. Well, thank you all for watching this video, and highly recommend this book. Thank you, Steve Donahue, for recommending it.